Welcome to episode 147 of a comedy podcast called Crazy Little Thing Called Lovdev. Today's episode is 147 cheese, onion pie, mushy peas, and gravy. Not going to lie, but I was not going to be able to record this podcast. You guys out there are absolutely lucky. Why is that, Lovdev? I've gave up a couple of hours on my Sunday morning to get this done. I can do it right now. The kids are in bed. The missus has gone to the gym. I've got exactly 58 minutes to record, edit, and post it out. I usually record this podcast during the week. I've had a very, very busy week. I'll tell you from the beginning what's been going on. So on Wednesday, I'm trying to remember the days. Wednesday, I did a live stream recording for an online channel called Ustream, who is owned by the British comedian Jim Davidson, who is very controversial in terms of what people think of him. I honestly think he's not a racist. I've never met the bloke. He wasn't there that night, but I mean, so what he's basically doing, he's got this channel called Ustream, and it's kind of like Netflix. It's all comedy related. And the type of humour they have on there is it's everything goes, do you know what I mean? It's no hold bars. So there's no snowflakes, no woke. It's that type of comedy. And in all honesty, I prefer that type of comedy because speak from the heart is what I always say. Don't let anyone judge you for what you're saying on stage. Obviously, there's certain limitations, do you know what I mean? Hate speech is one. I wouldn't go down with the kids' route, no way. And then there's obviously other stuff that involves hurting people. So that's not my type of comedy. My comedy is political. Those of you who have seen me on stage do know that. I can be a little bit political, on the edge, but that's the kind of stuff I've always liked from when I was a kid. Yeah, Ustream channel. It's going to be aired, I think it's either this week or the following week, Friday. You can sign up. It's not that expensive, to be honest. It's something like £6 a month. If you fancy it, have a look. Google Ustream. It's available on all the platforms, you know, like Apple, Amazon, Android. You can get it on your PC. It's on everything now. It's even on my LG telly. That's how far it's got. I'm not sure how many subscribers there are, but it seems to be doing all right. Do you know what I mean? So basically, I had to go down to Farnham, which is south of the UK. Those of you who are outside, it's near Southampton. It's like probably about 15 minutes from Southampton. So it's just not far from the coast. I went down there, but I got down there. It took me 3 hours to get there. I left early from my house. Usually I work on a Wednesday. So I went down, and it was very busy down there. I couldn't find it. I mean, it was in a business park. I can't remember what the business park was called. It was absolutely massive. There were so many buildings, and where the address took me to it wasn't even there. Do you know what I mean? And I started looking around for it. I took my time. I mean, I was early anyway. I was about an hour and a half early, so I wasn't too fussed. Was walking around, and then I saw another comedian, Dave Chorner, who I think is based in London. I saw him, he recognised me straight away. He was like, "Lovdev, thank God I've seen you here. There's somebody I know." I was like, "Mate, I don't even think this is the right address." So I went into this Specsavers. There's Specsavers headquarters down there. Spoke to one of the security guards. It was a lady. And she was very lovely, very helpful. She said, I'm not too sure, but it sounds like it's on the media side, which is the other end of the bridge. And I thought, oh, God, I'm never going to find this place now. She came back out, this woman did, and she brought her phone with her, and she started giving us directions. And she was really helpful, really nice of her. And she said, oh, I can't really read the screen properly, she said to me. I said, you should have gone to Specsavers. Way. And I said, you've heard that before, haven't you? She said many times. Luckily, I didn't tell her my Spock Sabers joke, and I didn't tell her I was a comedian. So anyway, me and Dave, we got to the venue. Little studio. It's not a bad little studio. I mean, it's really well set up. You got pictures of Jim Davidson and loads of other old school comics splattered about, Ken Dodd, people like that, all over the building. Did my recording. There was people in there. There was about 15. It was only a little small studio. It's an office block, basically. An office that's been turned into a studio. They were really good fun, to be honest, that audience. I'm glad they were there. They were laughing in the right places. We had one groaner in, and I looked at him and I thought, oh, I didn't want to say anything because I knew it was being filmed. And I was like, in my head, I was thinking, what are you groaning for? I know it's a pun. I know it's a silly pun, but you don't need to groan, mate. We're live on telly. Do you know what I mean? Well, not live, but it's going out live. Do you know what I mean? No, we weren't too bothered. So, yeah, it was nice. I met a couple of other people while I was there. There's Prince Abdi. There was Stephen Doddy, who is also a local comedian based in Dudley, so not far from me. I did message Steve to see if he wanted a car share. And he was like, nah, I'm just, I'm going to stay over the night. So he basically just made his own way and he stayed the night. But I had to come back because I had work. I had work in the morning, so I thought, right, I've got to get back. I saw Dave Chorner, as I mentioned, and there was one other person. Oh, me. There's 4 of us doing this comedy thing. Dave was emceeing it. Dave was doing a great job emceeing, to be honest. I thought he was hilarious. So, yeah, that's what happened on the Wednesday. So, Thursday, I ended up working. And then on Friday, I had another gig. I had a corporate event. Oh, I might tell you about that one a little bit later on, actually. That one was quite interesting. Conspiracy theories, what's real, what's fake? Conspiracy theories, what's real, what's fake? Let's do a conspiracy theory and see what is real and what is fake. This one has been posted by somebody called Any Thanks. And as I was scrolling through the conspiracy theory forum looking for a particular question to answer, this one kind of stood out because when I read it, some of you will go, oh yeah, I remember that. That was weird. So basically, that's what I thought when I saw the title. And I'll tell you what that title is. It's What is Momo? And what did she cause children to exactly do? Don't know if some of you remember this Momo. It was a few years ago, this thing was. Yeah, I remember it because my daughter was quite young and she was scared of this Momo. It was like a face of someone. How can I describe the face? It was like Emu. Do you remember Emu? The Rod Stewart Emu thing. Is it Rod Stewart? I probably got the name wrong in it. I bet you're all laughing your head off now. So there was this face, right? It was like a girl. She had a pointy little chin. Long nose, I think it had, like big eyes. Sounds a bit like my missus. Long black hair and look proper weird and strange. Some of you probably remember what I'm on about. And I think kids were doing mad stuff. Do you remember that? From what I remember, I think that's what happened. There was some mad stuff going on. Yeah, I can't remember. I think, were they harming themselves or something like that? I could be getting it wrong, but I'm sure I'm right. I don't know what I'm talking about. Any thanks was put underneath this question. In doing a research paper, how social media create fear that influences a viewer's behavior. If you remember anything from the time, let me know. The internet is pulling me in circles. Did it actually cause children into suicide, or is that a hoax? Okay. I remember people talking about Momo, and then there was a Momo trend. I'm sure there was something to do with people actually harming themselves. Whether that was true or not, I don't know. I'm going to read a couple of comments, and then, yeah, you guessed it. I'm asking chat LGBT what he thinks, or she thinks, because it's LGBT, isn't it? Some people said it was a hoax. One person has said, I remember reading about a new crazy game for children that turned into an online panic as parents searched for what it actually was. I think I was one of those parents who was scared of what it might do to my child. I think my daughter was like 6 or 7 at the time. I might be wrong. It turned out to be another hoax, some people have said. One person has put, it was creepy art project that entered this SCP, don't know what that means, cryptid lore type of shenanigans. Most of these crazies are just parents overreacting. So someone's put down the media was covering it and put out false information, and basically that caused a stir. And they also remember that it was an actual art thing, right? So it seems like a lot of people are saying it didn't do anything, but it was an art piece, and I think someone on the internet just made a big hoo-ha about it. And then probably just obviously posted videos of this Momo character. But I'm going to find out, because we do really need to know if this thing is... Conspiracy theories, what's real, what's fake? Conspiracy theories, is it real or is this fake? Let's go and ask the only genius in the world at the moment, the only, you know what I'm talking about, the most cleverest thing out there. So here we go. Chat LGBT has answered the question. Momo was a viral internet hoax. That's what everybody said. It gained widespread attention between 2018 and 2019. Not that long ago then. It was linked to a creepy image of a distorted figure with bulging eyes, long black hair, and an exaggerated smile. Sounds just like my wife. The image originated from a Japanese sculpture called Mother Bird. So, yeah, there's some truth to it. It was by an artist called Kisuke Asiwawa and was not originally connected to any malicious activity. However, it became associated with a fabricated online channel known as the Momo Challenge. So what was the actual Momo Challenge, you guys are asking? The alleged challenge claimed that Momo would appear on platforms like WhatsApp, social media, contacting children, and encouraging them to complete a series of dangerous tasks. The tasks supposedly started small but escalated to self-harm. See, I was right there. Extreme rumours and even suicide. Participants were allegedly threatened with harm to themselves or their loved ones if they failed. So did Momo actually cause harm? So despite the widespread panic, there was no verified evidence that Momo Challenge directly led to any self-harm or suicide. So law enforcement agencies, including the National Society of Prevention and Cruelty to Children, NSPCC, and various police forces worldwide found no cases confirming Momo as a direct cause of harm. Instead, it cleared much of the panic fueled by media and misinformation online. See, there we go then. I'm not going to read all of it. So the takeaway of it is the Momo scare served as a wake-up call about the importance of monitoring children's online activities, educating them about internet and understanding the potential for misinformation to cause widespread fear. And there we have it. That was today's.
Conspiracy theories, what's real, what's fake?
Yeah, unfortunately, that was fake. Good question. I like that because I totally forgot about that Momo thing. And I do remember it causing so much panic and havoc. Talking about panic and havocs, we've had to be dealing with a storm in the UK. Loads of you listening to United Kingdom know this. What a horrible storm we had. Storm Dara. Was it Dara? Darag? I don't even know. I'll be honest, I barely watch the news, but I see it on my phone, you know, like articles. And I saw it and I said, Darag. Is it Darag or Darag? Or is it Darren? Just spelt in a different way. So this storm, we've had it for like, what, 2-3 days now? And it kind of like, we had a weird storm the other day. It was a very mini one. And that storm, I was driving through it on the motorway and I was passing this lorry because it was raining so much. I don't know where this puddle came from, but the truck driver literally just whoosh. Like, it felt like a wave went over my car. That's how much water there was. I couldn't even see. And I, you know when you're driving, you think, oh, like you want to swear. Do you know what I mean? That's how I was at that day. But yeah, the storm, Dadag, he came down. I was worried because I had to drive all the way up to, where was I? Durham. I went to Durham the other day to do a sportsman dinner. Yeah. The special guest speaker was supposed to be ex-Aston Villa football player Lee Hendry. And I thought, oh, great. I've got loads of mates who are Villa fans. And they're going to be well jealous that I met him. And I got there and he actually cancelled it. That's what the bloke who booked me on told me, that he cancelled it. So they had a replacement. They had somebody called Clayton Blackmore, who's a ex-Welsh football player from Wales. And I believe he played for a couple of teams, but his biggest team was Man United in the early 90s, I think. Yeah. So anyway, met him. He was all right. Sound, you know. I mean, we had a chat. He was a nice guy. I took a picture of him and I sent it to my WhatsApp group. And one of my mates said, "Who's that? Freddy Krueger?" Because he had a Freddy Krueger hat on. I said, "No, it's what's his name, Clayton Blackmore." I said, "You should know, man. You're a Man United fan. That's so shameful. You don't even know who he is." Obviously, he's aged, but yeah. Got to the venue. It was in Durham, as I said. Just Durham's like 20 minutes from Newcastle. So that's how far I had to travel from Birmingham. Took me 4 hours to get there. I did stop off. Had a little, quick stop at the service station, which I very rarely do. Because I'm one of those people. I would just drive. I want to get home. I can't be asked to stop. That's taking another 30 minutes into my journey. So I usually just drive. But because this one was a longer drive, I thought, let me just stop off. I'm early anyway. I don't need to get there bang on at 7 p.m., which is what he wanted me there. So I went in and I was like, oh, this is nice, isn't it? I get to use the toilet. Picked up a very expensive packet of peanuts, as you do, from the service station. Because everything is double price, isn't it? At a service station. If there was a sale going on at a service station, nobody would go. That's how expensive it is. Because it wouldn't make any difference if there was a sale on. Has anyone ever seen a sale? That's a very good question, isn't it? I should ask that on the No Stupid Questions forum. Has anyone ever seen a sale going on at a service station? That's hilarious. So, yeah, let's crack on. I went there. I tell you what, mate, I walked in. When I walked into this building, there was blokes everywhere, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, big geezers, like proper geezer. Mate, mate. Obviously, they don't talk like that, but because they're all from up Newcastle way. They're all more like, well, hey, man, right, yeah, laddie. So they're a bit like that, like Jeffrey's it from the Anton Deck show. Bikers Grove, that's it. Old school people will know what I'm talking about. Biker's Grove. Biker Grove. It's an old TV show in the UK that made two people really famous. Walked in, as I said, there was 300 of them. Imagine 300 football. I'm not going to say the hooligans. I'm not saying that. But if you looked around, you'd think some of these probably are Middlesbrough hooligans, innit? Or Newcastle. And it was a mixture of Newcastle, Middlesbrough, and Sunderland fans. Obviously, none of them were wearing their tops. That would just cause a riot. There was loads of people, like blokes, mate. There was no women in there. The only women in the venue were the bar staff and the people that were serving the cheese and onion and steak pie. I had a cheese and onion with mushy peas and gravy. But let's get back to the story. 300, mate. I'm not even joking. Blokes, lads, yeah, rowdy, yeah, come on. You know, it was like that. England. That's what it was, man. And I looked and I thought, they're going to kill me. They're going to have me as starter. I am their papadom. That's what I am. It was just pure white faces everywhere. There was one Indian geezer. He was like my backup, but he was sitting too far away. But I thought, they're going to kill me, man. I could just see. And I had to wait a couple of hours. They told them. Obviously, we had a guest speaker there. Andy, I believe his name is. He works for BBC Sports or Sky Sports, something like that. He was the host. He was sound. He was lovely. He was very professional. He knew what he was doing. He got up on stage, brought on Clayton. They had a Q&A questionnaire. Right. Somebody asked a very funny question. They asked Clayton. They said, "What's it like sleeping with Carol Vorderman?" All the lads are laughing. I thought they're just taking the Mickey Mouse out of this guy, innit? And I thought, I've had it, man. I've got to go on after this. So I got on stage about 9 o'clock. They started to do the raffle after the Q&A with this Clayton bloke. And I said to the guy who's organising it, I said, "Mate, have you seen the amount of prizes there are?" I said, "This is going to take at least 40 minutes to clear." Because people are donating stuff like bottles, drinks, footballs that were signed. It was absolute chaos, man. So I was like, "Mate, just can you do like half of the prizes and then get me on and then end it with the other half?" And he was like, "Yeah, that's actually a very good idea." I said, "Yeah, let's do that." So I got on. I was nervous, man. But I was also like, in my head, I was thinking, you've come here to do a job and you're getting good money for it. I'm not going to tell you how much I got, but it was very good money. I'm not going to complain. So, you know, I'm there. I'm a professional. I need to be professional. Just go on. Do what you do. Don't worry if they don't like your stuff. I actually thought these lads ain't going to enjoy me. They're going to think he's silly. He's like a silly comic. Like he's doing daft jokes. I don't know why. I felt like I had to pre-warn them. I was like, "Lads, just to let you know, this is a bit topical comedy. It can be edgy, but it's clever as well. So if there are any snowflakes, you can leave now if you want." I don't know why I had to say that, because none of them looked like snowflakes. Not one of them was woke, believe me. I was thinking this to myself. I was thinking, if any other comedian, not like, I'm on about some professionals out there, would be like, "Oh yeah, I can do this, mate." But there's a lot of comics out there, I reckon, if they came to this gig with me, they would have looked and went, "Mate, I don't know if I could play this room." Do you know what I mean? Because obviously it takes years of experience to play a room like that. "Oh, mate, I've done so well. I don't want to brag, but I did really, really well." And the guy who ran the event afterwards come up to me and he said, "You saved me bacon, mate. You saved me bacon." Because apparently they had a comedian last year and the lads wanted to beat him up. I asked why, and they said because you kept swearing at them. That's why. So that was my night on Friday. So I don't even know what day it is. And then yesterday, it was Saturday. Yesterday, you're listening to this on a Monday. The weather was awful. I'm going to move swiftly on with the podcast because time is going. Time is ticking on this thing. I know I can go on as long as I want, but a lot of you know it's around about the 30-minute mark at the moment. So to me, that's long enough and good enough. Sorry if you can hear that. That sound is the toilet being flushed. I think one of my kids is awake, which I am very surprised about. It's 11:30 a.m. How are they even awake? They usually wake up a lot later. Let's do another topic. This one is the No Stupid Questions, posted by somebody called Brick House. I have asked a Brick House for permission whether I could do this, and they instantly responded, which was very nice of them. Thank you, Brick House, for responding. Not sure where you are based, but I did like your question. I thought it was very funny, and this is me covering it. I've had permission to do it, and I've had permission to post it on her page. So that's very nice of them. Right, the question they have asked is, do butterflies have any memory of when they were a caterpillar? That's hilarious. Do butterflies have any memory before they turned into a caterpillar? That's a bit like, do babies have any memory before they turned into a child? Is it? I think they probably... I mean, I'm taking it from a human instinct. Like, do caterpillars... Do they have a brain? They must have a brain. So they've got to have a brain, and they've got to remember certain stuff. And that certain stuff is survival, isn't it? My instincts is. So they probably remembered that they had to survive to become a butterfly. But then how does a caterpillar know that it's going to turn into a butterfly? That's another question. How does a caterpillar know? Is it just like it's weird, do you know what I mean? Like, it's weird that. Is that like us? Like what do they say? You got to crawl before you walk. Something like that. I don't know if I'm wrong. I've probably messed it up. Walk before you run. Something like that, innit? So do we remember that we have to walk? Or is it just natural in our body that we have to stand at a certain position? I don't even know where I am going. But I do like that question. I don't really know the answer. I'm going to say yes, kind of, for survival instincts. But, yeah, it's bizarre that, isn't it? I've never thought of that. I'm going to ask chat LGBT, do butterflies have any memories? So here we go. They've answered it. Yes, there is evidence that butterflies may retain some memory from the caterpillar stage. This surprising capability has been studied in insects like moths and butterflies, particularly during their transformation through metamorphosis. I probably said that wrong. So when a caterpillar transforms into a butterfly, right, the body undergoes an incredible change inside the chrysalis. But the nervous system isn't completely rebooted. Some neural connections from the caterpillar's brain are preserved during the metamorphosis. Now even I'm turning into a butterfly or a moth because I can't even say the word metamorphosis. So allowing for a degree of memory retention. I'll quickly read this because I've got to do the weird news story. When a key study conducted in 2008 by a researcher at Georgetown University, they trained caterpillars to associate a specific odour and a mild electric shock. You animals! After these caterpillars pupated and emerged as adult moths, they avoided the same odour, suggesting they may retain the memory of association. There we go. So that's what they did, and they believe. So they don't Do they? They don't really 100% know, but they're saying yes from evidence base. So yeah, a caterpillar does remember being a caterpillar until it turns into a beautiful butterfly. Isn't that amazing? There we go. I hope that answered your question. Brickhouse. Was it Brickhouse? I think it was Brickhouse. Was it? I'm going back. Yeah, it was Brickhouse. I'm just going through it. Brickhouse, thank you for that, and thank you for letting me use your question. Right, let's end this podcast with a weird news story. Let's see where today's weird news story actually comes from. I believe it comes all the way from the United States. And here is the weird news. Former Hamelin Middle School assistant principal is accused of planting a marijuana vape pen in a student's backpack in March 2023. Oh, I believe she has been charged. Guilty. We'll see. Well, let's read the whole story. A teacher planted a vape pen in a student's backpack. Not just a vape pen, a marijuana vape pen. That is mental. Let's have a look. What's going on? Corpus Christi, TX. I don't know what that means. Oh, it's a girl. A former admin for the Corpus Christi Independent School District, it's a place, has been arrested and charged with tampering with or fabricating physical evidence and official oppression. According to an arrest affidavit obtained by Chris News, former Hamelin Middle School assistant principal Amanda Corona. Shout out to Amanda Corona, who has been accused of planting a marijuana vape pen in a student's backpack. During a backpack search last year, a vape pen was found behind a cabinet in a classroom. During this search, a student's cell phone was recording audio. In that recording, Corona can be heard telling a former police officer, Andrew Gonzalez, shout out to Andrew Gonzalez, to place that vape pen in a student's bag. That student was then questioned by school officials and eventually suspended. So hang on a minute. There's a police officer involved as well. She must have paid him, innit? Or done something else to... A sergeant with the Newcastle County Sheriff's Office began investigating the incident last year. So, Newcastle County Sheriff J.C. Hooper told the News that Sheriff's Office then turned the investigation over to the Texas Ranger. According to the arrest, the audio recorded a conversation between Andrew Gonzalez and the Corona lady, and they were talking about a vape pen they found behind a filing cabinet in the classroom. It contained THC, which is obviously marijuana. Andrew Gonzalez and Amanda Corona agreed to falsely accuse Hamelin Middle School student of being in possession of the vape pen and placing it into his backpack, and he received a discipline by the school for the false accusation. So he denied it, and they just grounded him. That's absolutely mental. She must hate this student to do that. Why else would you do that? So the News spoke with the student's mother, Yvonne, on Thursday and said that she didn't know an arrest had been made before being contacted by the News. I know this is her career and I do feel bad. I do feel bad for her, but I feel like, does she need to be an assistant principal anywhere around children? No, of course not. She can't be trusted. Gatia said, not if that's the easy for her to just say, Yeah, let's put this on. What about if I hadn't known and I got hold of the recording? Would have been in trouble and he would have been on his record. And not only that, who else did they do it to? What other kids did they do that same thing to? Because it was so easy in conversation, because it was recorded, and it was easy for the police officer to also agree to plant something in a 12-year-old's back. What? They done it to a 12-year-old. Oh my! I was thinking they done it to like a college student. You know what I mean? Like high school. I don't know. Middle school. Right? That's like junior school. No, is it? So they caught. I don't know. They confuse us all the time, Americans. Plant something in a 12-year-old's backpack. It was illegal that they would have charged him with it. So they knew he wouldn't get charged, but they knew he'd get suspended. According to the arrest, that same vape pen was placed in another student's binder, and he got disciplined. What? There's something wrong with this woman, mate. This don't sound right at all. A third student who also got disciplined after Corona and Gonzalez stated that two students accused that student of owning the vape pen. So the one they put it in said it wasn't his, so he got suspended. And then another student had it in his book, and then he got suspended. And then they said, oh, it came from this guy. He was the one who bought it. So they done it to 3 students. This is mental. Is this even real? I mean, there are pictures of it, of this woman. This is so bizarre. Like, I don't understand why you would do that. So following the incident, Corona was placed on an admin leave with pay. She should not have been getting pay if this is going on. And it's true. The only reason I say that is because they've got her recording that conversation. To me, that's clear evidence. Unless someone AI'd it. You can AI anything these days. CCISD, whoever they are, immediately investigated any allegation or wrongdoing, a process which can include employees with leave and get paid. Basically, that's what they're saying. I'm not going to read all this CCID stuff because it's just boring me to death. I want to know the nitty gritty. So, records from the Texas Commission Law Enforcement have revealed that Gonzalez has not been employed since the allegation. So she's still under investigation, I believe. It has also been a jailer with the Nueces County Sheriff Office, and a peace officer is involved. Gonzalez is not currently employed as a peace officer in Texas. Gatica said, oh, that was a cop guy, so he's lost his job as well. Gatica said prior to this incident, she believed school staff when they would call her, but that trust has been shattered. So even her old colleagues do not trust her anymore. I'm mad, mad that you did this to my son, but you ruined the trust that I had for teachers and principals and vice principals. So now, when something happens, I'm not so quick to believe them, she said. You should be able to trust the educators, right? She's right. And I don't blame this woman for her son being accused, a 12-year-old child, being accused of doing something, and teachers planting it. That is just disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. There we go. That was today's weird news and today's podcast. Do me a favour, folks. Please share it, comment it, because I'm so close to thinking I might just end this now. I can't believe it. We've gone over the 40-minute mark. Anyway, guys, enjoy the rest of your week. I'll speak to you soon.